You want to look your best in the mirror. You want to be the man, and you have that maybe financially. You've got that in other aspects of your life. But when it comes to your body and you look in that mirror, there's a mismatch. You don't like what you see. And so you dig your heels into the ground and you do what you do best. You work hard at a problem until you've solved it. But what if your greatest strength as a hardworking man could be the very reason you don't have the body that you want? Well, that's why in this video, I want to help you. I want to help you understand why, as a man, you seem to conquer everything but what you see in the mirror. And it's this one key mental shift that I'm going to reveal to you that's going to help you hopefully overcome this thing that you've not been able to achieve for perhaps several years or maybe even your entire life. You see, if you're like some of the men we work with, they are winning at life. They are in good roles in the job. Maybe they have successful businesses. They've got the fancy cars. They have the wealth. Maybe they even, have a lovely family or wife, but they just can't master their physique. And the reason that is actually because of the way they approach it with that all or nothing mindset. I like to refer to these men as switches. What does a switch do? It's on or it's off. This works great in business. It works great in your career. When you do something, you either do it all the way or nothing at all, but it doesn't really work so much with your body. And the reason is because you can't be either on or off with your body. It's something that has to be constantly on at some level. And because of this binary thinking of on and off, it's often causing you to waiting to be committed to start again. Maybe you'll restart back in a less busy period. Maybe it's going to be next Monday. Maybe it's next year. Right now is not the right time. But that's actually because the plan you have set for yourself is not sustainable when life gets busy. And so you think you have to be on or off, but really what you need to do is to start thinking like a dial. Now, what does a dial do? It's not like a switch where it's on or off. You can modulate it. It has levels 0 to 100. And if, for example, one day you can only give maybe 40%, put the dial at 40%. What does that look like with your training? Maybe it comes back to just training twice a week and instead focusing on that Pareto principle of 80-20, meaning 80% of the results come from 20% of our efforts. For a busy man, that's what you need to be doing. Okay, what's the 20%? Why don't I just nail my nutrition today and skip today's gym session and actually just get some more steps? And now you'll probably see that maybe you're a pound down if your goal is fat loss. And so it's more about thinking of what do I have at my disposal? If it's only 10%, then it's only 10%. But if it's 90%, we can push. And like a dial, you can crucially push and pull back depending on where you're at in your life. But that flexibility, that dial, is so much more potent and powerful than the man who is a switch you can only perform when certain parameters allow it. That's fragile. You've got to be flexible. I always say to our clients, you've got to bend but not break. And for that to happen, you have to start thinking like a dial. Maybe this time, instead of thinking I have to do so much cardio and cut out carbs and be really restrictive, and if I'm not on this plan, I'm a failure and I'll wait till this quarter's less busy. Instead of thinking like that and actually thinking, why don't I this month even, why don't I just focus on getting a couple gym sessions in if I can? But since I'm trying to shift some fat, I'm just going to focus on walking as much as I reasonably can. I'm going to park away farther from the gym. I'm going to put myself in a position where I have to walk a bit more throughout the week. And before you know it, you've actually at least slowly progressed towards your fat loss goals, or at the very least maintained. Because what's so wrong with that? Being at maintenance or maintaining where you're currently at is hugely underrated. If you're genuinely not in a position to push hard with your goals because life is so busy, maybe you've had a newborn child or that period of work is just so incredibly hectic, what's wrong with maintaining where most men go back and regress? That's actually a win in that sense, because if you can maintain where you're at and hold out the storm and then start to progress when the stars do align a bit more, that's better than the guy when life gets busy and then he regresses and they end up in this dangerous yo-yo cycle where they are on or they're off and they're up and down like this, and they'll get some results, but you're not going to get results at the guy who's a dial, who when the storm gets busy, life gets busy, he dials things back, he holds where he's at, maybe makes a bit of progress, or at the very least he maintains. And that's better than the guy who's all over the place like this. And when life inevitably gets less busy, you can start making more progress again, whether that's fat loss or muscle gain. But the point being here, if you're a man who works hard and you apply 110% to everything you do, that could be your very issue. You need to be a dial and not a switch. Now, hopefully this video has helped you see your fitness goals in a new light. Now, if you want to find out the most common cognitive biases that I see with men like yourself that hold them back from seeing the truth and helping them get the result they want, you need to watch this video here.